Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraya Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Nashtike. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 7, Indra offends his spiritual master, Brihaspati. Text number 12 onwards. Yah param meshthyam dhishnam adhishthana kanchan prati uttishthiti bruyur dharmam tena param viduhu. So Indra, King Indra, he somehow offended his spiritual master, Brihaspati. So Brihaspati had come to his meeting, or wherever his Raj Sabha was there, and Indra did not respect him, show him proper respects, and Brihaspati left. So Indra is now lamenting. If a person says one who is situated on the exalted throne of a king should not stand up to show respect to another king or a Brahman, it is to be understood that he does not know the superior religious principles. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says in this regard that when a president or king is sitting on his throne, he does not need to show respect to everyone who comes within his assembly, but he must show respect to superiors like his spiritual master, Brahmins and Vaishnavas. There are many examples of how he should act. When Lord Krishna was sitting on his throne and Narad fortunately entered his assembly, even Lord Krishna immediately stood up with his officers and ministers to offer respectful obeisances to Narad. Narad knew that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Krishna knew that Narad was his devotee. But although Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and Narad is the Lord's devotee, the Lord observed the religious etiquette. Since Narad was a brahmachari, a Brahman, and an exalted devotee, even Krishna, while acting as a king, offered his respectful obeisances unto Narad. Such is the conduct visible in the Vedic civilization, a civilization in which the people do not know how the representative of Narad and Krishna should be respected, how society should be formed, and how one should advance in Krishna consciousness. A society concerned only with manufacturing new cars and new skyscrapers every year and then breaking them to pieces and making new ones may be technologically advanced, but it's not a human civilization. So Prabhupada is pretty much commenting on all this Western civilization, and now it's all over, even in India, China, everywhere it's the same theme that people follow. They just respect people with money or power. Nobody cares for sadhus anymore. Nobody cares for spiritual people anymore. How to show them respect, how to pay proper respects. A human civilization is advanced when its people follow the Chaturvarna system, the system of 4 orders of life. They must be ideal first-class men to act as advisors, second-class men to act as administrators, third-class men to produce food and protect cows, and obviously Vaishnava means the Vanijyam or do business, and fourth-class men who obey the 3 higher classes of society. One who does not follow the standard system of society should be considered a 5th-class man. A society without Vedic laws and regulations will not be very helpful to humanity. As stated in this verse, Dharmam tena param vidu. Such a society does not know the aim of life and the highest principle of religion. So that kind of society, maybe it just looks very nice, looks very wonderful, but ultimately that cannot progress. It cannot make any progress spiritually. If one cannot, or a civilization or a society as a whole does not respect spiritual people, तेषां कुपत् देष्ट्रणां पततां तमसि हि अधः ये श्रद्धध्युर्वचस्ते वै मज्जन्ते अशंप्लवा इव. Leaders who have fallen into ignorance and who mislead people by directing them to the path of destruction, as described in the previous verse, are in effect boarding a stone boat, and so too are those who blindly follow them. A stone boat would be unable to float and would sink in the water with its passengers. Similarly, those who mislead people go to hell, and their followers go with them. So, leaders who have fallen into ignorance means those who do not respect spiritual people. They're boarding a stone boat, a boat made of stone or rock. So that is definitely it's going to sink. It cannot float. As stated in Vedic literature, Nrideham Adhyam Sulabham Sudurlabham Lavam Sukalpam Guru Karanadar. We, the conditioned souls, have fallen in the ocean of nescience. But the human body fortunately provides us a good opportunity to cross the ocean because the human body is like a very good boat. When directed by a spiritual master acting as a captain, the boat can very easily cross the ocean. Furthermore, the boat is helped across by favorable winds, which are the instructions of Vedic knowledge. If one does not take advantage of all these facilities to cross the ocean of nescience, he is certainly committing suicide. And so the human body is, is considered as a very good boat. Good boat to cross over this ocean of birth and death, this samsara. And how it can cross over is by surrendering to a spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master, who acts as a captain of the boat. And his instructions are the favorable winds for the boat to sail in the right direction, and it's a good speed. And then the person means a soul, can easily cross the ocean. But if he doesn't, then he is certainly committing suicide. So the spiritual master is very, very important, and his instructions are more important to follow. One who boards a boat made of stone is doomed. To be elevated to the stage of perfection, humanity must first give up false leaders who present boats of stone. All of human society is in such a dangerous position that to be rescued, it must abide by the standard instructions of the Vedas. The cream of these instructions appears in the form of Bhagavad Gita. One should not take shelter of any other instructions, for Bhagavad Gita gives direct instructions on how to fulfill the aim of human life. Lord Krishna therefore says, Sarva Dharman Parityaj, give up all other processes of religion and simply surrender to me. Even if one does not accept Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his instructions are so exalted and beneficial for humanity that if one follows his instructions, one will be saved. So Prabhupada, even if you do not accept Krishna as a Supreme Personality of God, even if you think, oh, Krishna was an ordinary person, not God, and this, but his instructions, if we follow, one can be saved. Otherwise, one will be cheated by unauthorized meditations and gymnastics methods of yoga. Thus, one will board a boat of stone, which will sink and drown all its passengers. Unfortunately, although the American people are extremely eager to get out of materialistic chaos, they are sometimes found to patronize the makers of stone boats. That will not help them. They must take the proper boat offered by Krishna in the form of Krishna consciousness movement. Then they will be easily saved. In this regard, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments, if a society is guided by political diplomacy, with one nation maneuvering against another, it will certainly sink like a stone boat. Political maneuvering and diplomacy will not save human society. People must take to Krishna consciousness to understand the aim of life, to understand God, and to fulfill the human mission. But the society all over the world, everywhere we see, it's just guided by political diplomacy. Society, what to talk of society? Every little bitty organizations within the society. Everybody, every group that we see, every community that we talk about, everybody is guided by political diplomacy. Political diplomacy is what? Basically, to categorize people between friends and enemies. This is my friend, that is my enemy. And to do things which are beneficial for me, which I think are beneficial for me. And that benefit is only limited to body. Whether I get money from the other person, whether I get good power, more power, good position, that's all people are looking for. And this has become the aim of life. And this is what Prabhupada is saying. Political maneuvering and diplomacy will not save human society. And when we live in this kind of situation, in this kind of atmosphere, with that kind of mentality, how can, and that is the reason there is no peace. So how can there be peace in the world when we ourselves are not at peace? Ourselves are not at peace because every time you're thinking somebody is my enemy, somebody is my friend, and my enemy is coming to either kill me or cheat me or take over my property or take over my position, and my friends are going to save me, but ultimately I don't have faith in the friends either, because I myself have the mentality of exploiting my friends, exploiting my friendships for my benefit. So obviously they will be doing the same thing. So even the friendship is not real friendship. Friendship, it has become just a for some purpose we become friends. Otherwise, friendship is not there. So that is why this day and age of chaos and hypocrisy and quarrel all over the world, everywhere, even in the house, little houses, homes, we see these problems. That is why this Krishna consciousness is very, very important. And what are we fighting for? Really, if you, I mean, I would suggest, because other day I myself was looking at this Google Earth. If you look at that program and try to look for city of Delhi and try to look for the street that you live on, and then zoom back, zoom out. I mean, we are just looking at a program on a computer screen, small program. Where do we exist in the whole world? We are not even talking the universe. On this earth only, where do we exist? What do we have? Nothing. Basically, it's nothing. But that's all what we just fight for the rest of our lives. Whatever we have, we want to fight to protect it and to get more and more to so that we think that I can have a peaceful old age. If our youth was not peaceful, how in the world are we gonna get old age peaceful? Not gonna happen. Only spiritual path can afford that. And that too if we follow it properly. Not half-heartedly. Not like, okay, one if we are trying to cross this river somehow, Krishna's arrangement, I put this in the background. This is river Yamuna, and in the background you see Keshi Ghat and Madan Mohanji temple. If we try to cross this river with one foot in that stone boat that Prabhupada is talking about, and the other foot in a proper boat, which is a spiritual boat, do you think we can cross over? Not gonna happen. We're gonna sink again. So we have to let go of that stone boat. We think it's very solid and it can save me. No, only Krishna can save us. So we have to make tremendous progress spiritually. We have to make much more progress. We have to put in more endeavor in our spiritual progress on the spiritual path. Otherwise, the world is in a chaos and it's going to get more and more chaotic as the time passes. And if we're going to take birth again in this chaotic world, when we can only see what it used to be like 50 years ago. And now, and if we die maybe another 20, 10, 20, whatever, 30 years, and again take birth, and by the time we grow up, it will be another 20 years. So maybe 30, 40, 50 years from now, we can't even imagine what kind of world it will be. It'll be chaotic, more and more. So why go through it again? Athahamara charyam agadadhishnam dvijam prasadeshe nishatam shishana tacharanam sprishan. King Indra said, therefore, with great frankness and without duplicity, I shall now bow my head at the lotus feet of Brihaspati, the spiritual master of the demigods. Because he is in the mode of goodness, he is fully aware of all knowledge and is the best of the Brahmins. Now I shall touch his lotus feet and offer my obeisances unto him to try to satisfy him. Coming to his senses, King Indra realized that he was not a very sincere disciple of his spiritual master, Brihaspati. Therefore, he decided that henceforward, he would be a nishtha, non-duplicious. Nishat, non-duplicious. Nishata Shirshna Tacharanam Sprishan. He decided to touch his head to the feet of his spiritual master. From this example, we should learn this principle enunciated by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Yasya prasada bhagvat prasad, yasya aprasada nagati kuto api. By the mercy of the spiritual master, one is benedicted by the mercy of Krishna. Without the grace of the spiritual master, one cannot make any advancement. A disciple should never be a hypocrite or be unfaithful to his spiritual master. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is written, the spiritual master is also called Acharya. Acharya Mam Vijaniya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, says that One should respect the spiritual master, accepting him as the Lord himself. Of course, Prabhupada mentioned it. He is not the Lord, he is not God, but he should be respected as good as God. Na avamanyat karhichit. One should not disrespect the Acharya at any time. Na marte buddhya suyet. One should never think the Acharya an ordinary person. Familiarity sometimes breeds contempt. But one should be very careful in one's dealings with the Acharya. The Acharya is the perfect Brahman and has unlimited intelligence in guiding the activities of his disciple. Therefore, Krishna advises in Bhagavad Gita, Tadvidhi pranipate. Just try to learn the truth by approaching the spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. One should fully surrender unto the spiritual master, and with service, sevaya, one should approach him for further spiritual enlightenment. And this is what Indra admitted his mistake, his fault, and he said, I'll go and touch his lotus feet and offer my respectful obeisances unto him and try to satisfy him. Evam chintayatastasya maghonu bhagwan grihat brihaspatir gato adrishtam gatim adhyatma mayaya. While Indra, the king of the demigods, thought in this way and repented in his own assembly, Brihaspati, the most powerful spiritual master, understood his mind. Thus he became invisible to Indra and left home. For Brihaspati was spiritually more powerful than King Indra. So Brihaspati became invisible. So he understood the mind of his disciple Indra, but still he wanted to teach him a lesson. Gurur nadhi gataha sangyam parikshan bhagwan swara dhyayan dhiya suryaryukta sharma nalabhatatmanaha. Although Indra searched vigorously with the assistance of the other demigods, he could not find Brihaspati. Then Indra thought, alas, my spiritual master has become dissatisfied with me, and now I have no means of achieving good fortune. Although Indra was surrounded by demigods, he could not find peace of mind. So even with all the demigods, assistance of all the demigods, and the powers they have, they also have very different kind of yogic powers, but still they could not find Brihaspati because Brihaspati was spiritually more powerful than Indra. So in that situation, Indra could not find peace of mind. So he was very disturbed. Tat shrutva vasura sarva ashritya shanasam matam devan prati udyamam chakrur durmada atatayinam. Hearing of the pitiable condition of King Indra, the demons, following the instructions of their guru Shukracharya, equipped themselves with weapons and declared war against the demigods. So this is also mentioned that in the heavenly planets, just outside the heavenly planet, there are always demons trying to attack the demigods. And they look for an opportune moment, a favorable moment to attack so that they can win. So that's also one of the reasons heavenly planets, not very peaceful places, because demons are always there to attack. So Shukracharya, he is a guru of the demons. And why is Shukracharya guru of demons? He's also a Brahman and a great Brahman. And in fact, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita when he was in chapter 11, when he was summarizing of his opulences, he says of all the Of all the gurus, I'm Brihaspati, but of all the Brahmins, I think he says I'm Shukracharya. And that great Shukracharya is. But why he takes up the position of a guru of the demons? Because he has his own reason. He says that demons are more hardworking than the demigods. And he likes that. According to him, demigods, they just, anything happens, they just run towards Vishnu for protection. But demons, they're just hardworking. They believe in their power or increasing their power, and they're ready to do austerities, and they were more uh, work oriented, and Shukracharya likes that. And this is how the mentality of many people is there. Almost, not even many people. I would say 99% of population is like that on Earth. They would think, oh, it's always beneficial to work hard and prove yourself, self-made man, and this and that. Only devotees, they take shelter of Krishna. It's not that devotees don't work. Devotees also work hard, but their aim is to please Krishna. And if they want anything or if they get anything extraordinary, then they just give the credit to Krishna, which is the right way actually. But the demoniac mentality is demon. That's what demons are. Asura. Asura means um, they're not Rakshas. Rakshas are different. So demons are asuras. They're in mode of passion. They want to work hard and achieve something. So this is why Shukracharya has taken up the position of being guru of demons. And Shukracharya understood that demigods are now weak because they have committed an offense against a Brahman. That's also one of the reasons we have to be very, very careful of not committing offenses against Vaishnavas, because then we become weak. Of course, we have so much of demonic mentality, not any demon has to attack us, but Maya, when then Maya is always attacking, but at that time when we are weak, then the attacks of Maya can disturb us terribly. And this is what's going to happen here. So they were ready with their weapons and declared war against the demigods. Tarvi srishteshu bhistikshana nirbhinnaruru bhavaha brahmanam sharanam jaku sahendra nat kandhara. The demigods' heads, thighs, and arms and other parts of their bodies were injured by the sharp arrows of the demons. The demigods, headed by Indra, saw no other course than to immediately approach Lord Brahma with bowed heads for shelter and proper instructions. So they approached Brahmaji as a big mistake. What to do? Tansthatabhyar ditan viksha bhagwan atma bhurajaha kripya paraya deva uvacha parisantvyam. When the most powerful Lord Brahma saw the demigods coming toward him, their bodies gravely injured by the arrows of the demons, he pacified them by his great causeless mercy and spoke as follows. Shri Brahma Vacha Aho Bata Surashreshta Yavadram Vaha Kritam Mahat Brahmishtham Brahmanam Dantam Aishwarya Nabhya Anandata. Lord Brahma said, O best of the demigods, unfortunately, because of madness resulting from a material opulence, you failed to receive Brihaspati properly when he came to your assembly. Because he is aware of the Supreme Brahman and fully in control of his senses, he is the best of the Brahmans. Therefore, it is very astonishing that you have acted impudently towards him. Lord Brahma recognized the Brahminical qualifications of Brihaspati, who was a spiritual master of the demigods, because of his awareness of the Supreme Brahman. Brihaspati was very much in control of his senses and mind, and therefore he was a most qualified Brahmin. Lord Brahma chastised the demigods for not properly respecting this Brahman, who was their guru. Lord Brahma wanted to impress upon the demigods that one's guru should not be disrespected under any circumstances. When Brihaspati entered the assembly of the demigods, they and their king, Indra, took him for granted. Since he came every day, they thought they did not need to show him special respect. As it is said, familiarity breeds contempt. Being very much displeased, Brihaspati immediately left Indra's palace. Thus, all the demigods headed by Indra became offenders at the lotus feet of Brihaspati. And Lord Brahma, being aware of this, condemned their neglect. In a song we sing every day, Narottam Das Thakur says, Chakshudan dilo jay, janme janme Prabhu say. The Guru gives spiritual insight to the disciples, and therefore the Guru should be considered his master, life after life. Under no circumstances should the Guru be disrespected, for the demigods, being puffed up by their material possessions, were disrespectful to their Guru. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam advises Acharya Ma Vijani. The Acharya should always be offered respectful obeisances. One should never envy the Acharya, considering him an ordinary human being. So all the demigods headed by Indra, they went to Brahmaji and they were just could not tolerate the arrows of demons coming towards them. And Brahmaji first chastised them for offending Brihaspati. Tasyayamaneyasyasita parebhyo parabhava rakshинебhya sovaribhya samriddhanam chayat suraha. Because of a misbehavior towards Brihaspati, you have been defeated by the demons, by the demigods, since the demons were weak, having been defeated by you several times. How else could you, who are so advanced in opulence, be defeated by them? The Devas are celebrated for fighting with the Asuras perpetually. In such fights, the Asuras were always defeated, but this time the demigods were defeated. Why? The reason as stated here was that they offended their spiritual master. Their impudent disrespect of their spiritual master was the cause of the defeat by the demons. As stated in the Shastras, when one disrespects a respectable superior, one loses his longevity and the results of his pious activities. And in this way, one is degraded. So serious is this Vaishnava offense, Vaishnava Brahman. The demigods, all the demigods together, they got defeated by the demons because they committed an offense against Brihaspati. And what was the offense? They did not pay him proper respects when he came to that assembly. So how serious we should be when dealing with the devotees. Actually, if we look at Srimad Bhagavatam or any scripture, throughout the scripture, it is given, it is mentioned, or it should be inferred from this. Everybody is given a good opportunity, a golden opportunity to come in association with devotees, to serve the devotees, and to make spiritual advancement. Or at the same time, we can commit offenses against devotees and follow. It happens. There's a common theme of Srimad Bhagavatam everywhere. We can see it. Okay. In the beginning, when we were reading about Ved Vyas's lamentation, Narada Muni, his spiritual master, approached And Vedyasi just humbly served Narad Muni and asked him questions, showed proper respect. And Narad Muni gave him instructions. And then Vedyasi, who was considered as literary incarnation of Krishna, he compiled Srimad Bhagavatam. How in the first canto, how Pandavas, they always respected the sadhus, how they always served Lord Krishna, and they were always the recipient of the mercy of Krishna. Kauravas, however, they failed to respect Krishna, they failed to give proper respect to the devotees of Krishna, the Pandavas. Ultimately, they were vanquished. Everybody was killed. And then we read the story of Hiranyaksha, how he disrespected Mother Earth. Mother Earth is a pure devotee of Krishna. He disrespected her. He disrespected Lord Varahadev. Ultimately, he got killed. Mother Earth, she worshipped Varahadev. She pleased him, and she got so many benedictions. She was saved. She was put back in the proper place. And then also she got a son from Varahadev, who later on took association of asuras and became an asura, Bhaumasura, but he was son of Krishna or Lord Varahadev. And then so many places we read. Okay, four Kumaras, Jaya Vijay committed offense against the Kumaras. They had to fall down and take three births as the demons, and very, very powerful demons they became. And whoever served Krishna, whoever served the devotees of Krishna, they always had a wonderful life. And this is what the same theme will continue later. Dhruv Maharaj, when he saw Narad Muni, of course, Narad Muni was testing Dhruv Maharaj, but Dhruv Maharaj was very respectful towards Narad Muni. And by the mercy of Narad Muni, he achieved the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. So here, even the demigods, they made a mistake. They just disrespected the spiritual master. Now look at the price they had to pay. They got defeated by the demons, who were always defeated by demigods. But now, this time around, they got defeated. Maghvan dvishatah pasya prakshinan gurva atikramat sampratyupachittan bhuya kavyam aradhya bhaktita adadiran nilayanam mamapi bhrigu devata. O Indra, your enemies, the demons, were extremely weak because of their disrespect towards Shukracharya. But since they have now worshipped Shukracharya with great devotion, they have again become powerful. By their devotion to Shukracharya, they have increased their strength so much that now they are even able to easily seize my about me. Of course, nobody attacks Lord Brahma. They all have respect for Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma wanted to point out to the demigods that by the strength of the Guru, one can become most powerful within this world. And by the displeasure of the Guru, one can lose everything. This is confirmed by the song of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Yasya Prasada Bhagavad Prasado. By the mercy of the spiritual master, one is benedicted by the mercy of Krishna. Without the grace of the spiritual master, one cannot make any advancement. Although the demons are insignificant in comparison to Lord Brahma, because of the strength of their Guru, they were so powerful that they could even seize Brahmaloka from Lord Brahma. We therefore pray to the spiritual master, Mukam Karoti Vachalam. By the mercy of the Guru, even a dumb man can become the greatest orator, and even a lame man can cross mountains. As advised by Lord Brahma, one should remember this Shastric injunction if one desires success in his life. So this is what we have to do. Just let's not make offenses against Guru and sadhus, and then life will be peaceful. Tripishtipam kim ganyati abhedya mantra bhriguna anushikshitartha navipra govinda gavishwarana bhavanti abhadrani nareshwarana. Because of their firm determination to follow the instructions of Shukracharya, his disciples, the demons, are now unconcerned about the demigods. In fact, kings or others who have determined faith in the mercy of Brahmins, cows, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and who always worship these three, are always strong in their position. See, this is the secret of success. Have determined faith in the mercy of Brahmins, cows, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's it. From the instructions of Lord Brahma, it is understood that everyone should very faithfully worship the Brahmins, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the cows. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Go Brahman Hitayecha. He is always very kind to cows and Brahmins. Therefore, one who worships Govinda must satisfy him by worshipping the Brahmins and cows. If a government worships the Brahmins, the cows, and Krishna, Govinda, it is never defeated anywhere. Otherwise, it must always be defeated and condemned everywhere. At the present moment, all over the world, governments have no respect for Brahmins, cows, and Govinda. And consequently, there are chaotic conditions all over the world. In summary, although the demigods were very powerful in material opulence, the demons defeated them in battle because the demigods had behaved disrespectfully towards a Brahman, Brihaspati, who was their spiritual master. So Shukdev Goswami or Brahmaji is saying, Lord Brahma is saying, if you show proper faith, respect towards Brahmins mean devotees, cows, and Krishna, nobody can defeat you. Lord Brahma, who's a secondary creator of the universe, of everything in the universe, he is saying that. Of course, those who are atheists or so-called seculars, they will not believe in this. But let them not believe, who cares? We should have faith in the instructions of Lord Brahma. He is the founder Acharya of our disciplic succession, the one we come in. Prabhupada is a founder Acharya of ISKCON, but we all follow the knowledge coming from Brahmaji, who got it from Krishna. So we are in Brahmadva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. So if we just do these three, as Brahmaji says, one will always be strong in position. And Prabhupada says, one will always be successful if we just worship these three. Tad Vishwarupam Bhajatashu Vipram Tapasvinam Tvashtram Athatma Avantam Sabhajito Arthan Savidhasyatevo Yadi Kshamishyaddham Utasya Karma. O demigods, I instruct you to approach Vishwarupa, the son of Tvashta, and accept him as your guru. He is a pure and very powerful Brahman, undergoing austerity and penances. Pleased by your worship, he will fulfill your desires, provided that you tolerate his being inclined to side with the demons. Lord Brahma advised the demigods to accept the son of Tvashta as their spiritual master, although he was always inclined towards the benefit of the asuras. So if we remember from yesterday, yesterday we were reading, Vishwarupa is a His mother is a demon, Asura, and father is a demigod. So he always had some soft corner for the demons. But great Brahman undergoing austerities and penances, and Brahmaji is saying, just approach him, accept him as your guru, and obviously he will do some yajna, and then they will get the powers. The demigods will get the powers. Text 26. Shri Shukuvacha ta evam udita rajan brahmana vigat jvaraha rishim twashtram upavrajya parishya parishvajyedam abbravan. Sri Shukdev Goswami continued. Thus advised by Lord Brahma and relieved of their anxiety, all the demigods went to the sage Vishvarupa, the son of Tvashta. My dear king, they embraced him and spoke as follows. Shri Deva Uchu, Vayam te atitheya prapta ashramam bhadramastute kamaha sampadyatam tata pitrinam samya uchita. The demigod said, Beloved Vishwarupa, may there be all good fortune for you. We, the demigods, have come to your ashram as your guests. Please try to fulfill our desires according to the time, since we are on the level of your parents. See, when the time comes, one has to do anything and everything to get the work done. So demigods have approached Vishwarupa and saying, we are on the level of your parents. Please help us. Putranam hi paro dharma pitri shushrushanam satam api putravatam brahman kim ut brahmacharinam. O Brahman, the highest duty of his son, even though he has sons of his own, is to serve his parents. And what to speak of his son, who's a brahmachari. Acharya Brahmano Murti, Pita Murti, Prajapate, Bhrata Marutpater Murti, Mata Sakshat Shikte Shastnu, Dhyaya Bhagini Murtir Dharmasyatma Tithi Swayam, Agnerabhyagato Murti, Sarva Bhutani Cha Atmana. The Acharya, the spiritual master who teaches all the Vedic knowledge and gives initiation by offering the sacred thread, is a personification of all the Vedas. Similarly, a father personifies Lord Brahma, a brother King Indra, a mother the planet Earth, and a sister Mercy. A guest personifies religious principles. An invited guest personifies the demigod Agni, and all living entities personify Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. According to the moral instructions of Chanakya Pandit, Atmavat Sarva Bhuteshu, one should observe all living entities to be on the same level as oneself. This means that no one should be neglected as inferior, because Paramatma is seated in everybody's body. Everybody should be respected as a temple of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This verse describes the different ways in which one should respect a guru, a father, a brother, a sister, a guest, and so on. So everybody should be looked upon differently and respected properly. That's the whole idea. Tasmat pitrinam artanam marti parabhavam tapasa panayan stata sandesham kartum arhasi. Dear son, we have been defeated by our enemies and therefore we are very much aggrieved. Please mercifully fulfill our desires by relieving our distress through the strength of your austerities. Please fulfill our prayers. So they further pray and Vishwarupa then agrees later on to do the sacrifice for the demigods. But there is more twist in the story and the sacrifice and well, the thing is, it's a beautiful story that will go on. I don't want to I don't want to ruin the suspense here. But anyway, we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I think Brahaspati in this story is still unhappy with the demigods. Because even Brahma instructed to go for Vishwarupa, but still there is no resolution for Brahaspati insult.
Yeah, not yet. He'll come back later.
Okay.
Of course, he's the spiritual master. Ultimately, what I feel is it's all orchestrated by Krishna. Everything is orchestrated by him.
Yeah.
So for us to learn our lessons, that's all.
After all, he regulates everything, Prabhuji. So agree with Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any other question or comment?
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Matan.
How are you,
So
Mataji?
we'll- Hare
Not good, Prabhuji.
Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
We'll chant
Hare
for you.
Krishna.
Yes, Lord's mercy be upon you.
Archana Mata, chant more. Try to chant more. I know you need to take rest and fever and this. And lots
Prabhuji,
of
the
things.
entire family is हो गया सबको ना.
I know. It's tough. Yeah, it is tough. It is tough.
पूरा दिन ऑक्सीमीटर ले लेके ही चेक करते रहते हैं.
वो एक वीडियो भेजा था जिसमें कुछ एक्सरसाइज थी अबाउट लंग कैपेसिटी.
हाँ, वो भी are more worried about my father-in-law, you know, he's 89, तो उनका मुझे बहुत टेंशन है. उनको थोड़ा सा लग रहा है कि हमको थोड़ा गड़बड़ ना होता है, तो उनको देखते रहते हैं, फिर खुद को देखना है, हस्बैंड डॉटर.
Yeah, second round of corona is very dangerous now.
Very dangerous for me.
Many are getting infected.
हाँ. गागल करो, स्टीम लो, मेडिसिन के. अब रियलाइज होता है प्रभु जी, टाइम ही नहीं होता. जब बीमार हो जाओ ना तो बस खुद को ही देखभाल करते रहो. नो चैंटिंग, नथिंग, कोई पूजा पाठ नहीं हो रहा. यही लोग बोलते हैं ना कि हम लोग कर लेंगे, बट नहीं होता. सीरियसली.
जगन्नाथ जी बैठे हैं, कराएंगे, सब करा देंगे. जगन्नाथ जी हैं आपके घर में.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I'd like to give you a call after this call meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Archana Mata, you can say to Lord Jagannath, भैया देख लो, खाना वाना खाना है तो ठीक कराना पड़ेगा पहले अच्छे से. नहीं तो जो भी थोड़ा बहुत है, नहीं तो जो थोड़ा बहुत है वही मिलेगा फिर.
हाँ, अभी ऐसे ही चल रहा है. मैं तो एक बोल के बोल रही हूँ, देख लो भाई, अब जैसा है ये लो, अब एक्सेप्ट करो.
या तो ठीक कराओ या ऐसे ही चलेगा. आप देख लो क्या करना है आपके ऊपर.
रूखा सूखा जो हम खा रहे हैं वही आप खाओ. नो स्पेशल.
चलो, I hope everybody gets okay soon.
हो जाएगा ठीक.
Okay. You all have a safe, wonderful.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.